of why is Mark up at 3 a.m. driving and living featuring me? Well, in this case, it's because I am trying to make sure that I don't miss my flight. My flight is at 5:45 a.m. I should be all right. I'm probably gonna be within the airport like four o'clock. So there's two airports. There is John F. Kennedy, which is very close to me, and then there's LaGuardia, which is not terribly far, but also, you know, not terribly close either. So I made a decision this time because it's always like you get a cheaper flight at LaGuardia, but then the Uber to get you to LaGuardia, unless you have a ride there, like getting there by Uber is like $60 each way. It's like $60 each way. So, anyways, it's like $60 each way. So like 120 extra dollars on top of your plane ticket. So I was like, you know what? This time I'm gonna find a parking garage. I found one. It's gonna cost me like about $60 to park my car, but it's the fact that I can actually drive there myself, park my car, leave it there for a couple of days, and come back and not have to worry about a ride and another $60. So it's like one $60 fee and have my own car that I can pick up versus like two $60 fees. So I was using my what did my dad call this? I can't remember. It was one of his dad jokes. Using my noggin. But there was some joke attached to it. I'll have to ask. Oh, my kidney. I'll have to ask my sister. That was one of his dad jokes. What was I gonna say? So, something I was gonna say. Shoot. Okay, so what I was gonna talk about really quick, between now and when I get to destination number one, is so a lot of people ask me from all these events, all these reality TV events that I have attended, right? Which person or people have I enjoyed meeting the most out of that? And I think everyone generally knows the ones that I have enjoyed the most. I always list Hannah, Chada, and I always list Sam from the Circle. Johnny Bananas surprisingly is up there. Ayana from the Challenge All Stars and Real World Road Rules. There's several of them. There's some that I have liked, and there's some that I have not liked also. But the majority, a good amount of them I like. But when somebody asks me for a number one, no, I can't add you on. What's up? Hi, everybody. Yeah, number one. When you ask me for the number one, not like the number one person that I'm a fan of or whatever, that kind of thing, but just the number one interaction. I used to say Hannah because that was the first person. Let me think. Was the Big Brother thing I went to before any challenge stuff that I had gone to? I think it was. I can't remember 100%, but I believe I went to my first event ever that I ever went to, I think, was Big D's birthday party from the cookout season of Big Brother. I believe that was the first event I ever went to. So, or it might have been the second. It might have been the second, because I remember when I knew that she was gonna be there, I had like a strategy what I was gonna say to her, because I think that I had gone to a challenge event before and I just kind of freestyled what I was gonna say, and then afterwards I was like, shoot, I wanted to say this, I wanted to say that, I wanted to say this. And then I didn't get enough time because it was just a matter of grab and go, like grab them and get a picture and say, hi, my name is Mark, nice to meet you, whatever. And then next thing you know, somebody else is pulling them in another direction, right? So when I went to that one, I remember it was like very early on when I started covering Big Brother 24. Actually, it was right after season 24 of Big Brother ended. So when I went to her, or everybody that was there, as a matter of fact, I had like 2 or 3 questions for them, and then I expected them to answer the 2 or 3 questions and then move around the room, which is pretty much what everybody else did. So it was like a smart train of thought by me to think that that's what was gonna happen, because that is what happened. I'm like, hey, Tiffany, I have a question about this, or I liked this, or whatever, or Big D, or Cinco, Cache, all these people. I had like 1 or 2 things. I had like 1 or 2 things to say, 2 or 3 things to say to each one of them, and they answered those 2 or 3 things. Hey, Vicky, and then they moved on. So the funny thing was, when I spoke to Hannah, I had like 2 or 3 things to say to her as well. I asked her my 2 or 3 questions of whatever it was that I had figured out that I was going to say to her. And then she was still standing there. And then I felt awkward, because I'm like, I never usually have anyone standing here long enough to ask more things than what I was prepared to ask. So then I was like, well, she's still standing here, so I guess I guess let's freestyle the rest of this conversation. So she stood there. She spoke to me for maybe 10 minutes. If it seemed like more than that, but I think it was probably about 10 minutes, which, if you go to any one of these events, if you have somebody's attention for 10 minutes, that's a long time, because people are all over, the fans are all over the place, pulling them in all kinds of different directions. So 10 minutes of their time makes you feel important, right? So that was one thing. It's funny, I'm like, oh, she's still here. So that was my favorite interaction for a very, very long time, up until I met CT. And CT is the man. I met him a couple of times. CT is the man. Because I look at him on TV, and he's this big, somewhat scary figure of a guy, right? And especially from his younger days, and he had this huge history, whatever. Winning challenges, hurting people, punching people in the face, different stuff. He's got quite a background. The man has quite a background. So I remember his event happened to fall on the same week of my dad's funeral. And I was so excited about the event until the funeral was happening. And then I was like, I don't really have it in me. Hello, Bobby. I was like, I don't really have it in me to go to this event, because I'm not even thinking about reality TV right now. it's like the furthest thing from the front of my mind is, TV shows and that kind of stuff, right? So the thing is, I remember I had to. It's a whole story. I don't even want to get into that whole story. Long story short, I went and I had prepared questions for CT. Also, I was gonna ask him about certain things. I think I was gonna ask him about Adam. I think I was gonna ask him about his relationship with Wes. I don't know. There was like a few things that I had prepared to say to him. So I still have the video. People, when I post the video, people are like, "I can't hear you." I could hear myself in the video, but I guess it's also because I know exactly what I said. I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, CT, I'm a big fan of yours," and he was just like, "Stop it, man. Who put you up to saying that?" And then before I could even get to anything, I just blurted out, "I buried my dad on Monday." That's the second thing that I said to him after saying hi or whatever. And I could feel like a heaviness in him when I said that. And after I said that to him, he was like, wow. He's like, "Wow, that's heavy. I'm so sorry for your loss, blah, blah, blah." Then he started giving me all this advice about loss. And I remember we were in this big CT line that we had to wait in line for 2 to 3 hours to see him. And then the lady was trying to rush me, and he was just like, nope, I'm taking my time. And he spoke to me for a while. And he spoke to me about losing his brother and losing DM, who was his ex-girlfriend, from the challenge. And and then he was telling me about how death comes in waves, and he was like, don't be a macho man like how I was. He gave me a lot of different advice. But anyways, the point was, that was amazing. And so that's my either 1A or 1B. I'll probably say it's my 1B. Now, Cara Maria is my 1A. And I'll tell you the reason why Cara Maria is my 1A. When I met Cara, I felt probably similarly as starstruck to meet her as I was to meet CT, right? And I actually generally don't really feel that way anymore about most of these casts. No offense to them. Like, I'm not even saying it's not cool to meet them, because it is. Sometimes it's cool to meet them, but it's different being at your 20th event versus being at your first or second, right? So you've seen the good and the bad, and you've met a bunch of them by now. So just to wrap this up, right? Because I'm wrapping this up really quick. The cool thing about meeting, the funniest story was meeting Cara. I think that was the funniest one, and I'll tell you why. Because I went to go meet her at this event, at this fibroids event that she was a part of. And I had this thing that I had made for her, these stars that I always talk about. And I had it in a bag, and I brought it to give to her. I waited till the end of the speaking and everything. And then I was standing. So then I saw her standing there with Paulie. And then I go over there. She's talking to somebody, and I'm standing there. And normally, like, you stand there and you get to one of the events, you see the person you want to talk to there, you stand there and you get their attention, and then, after you get their attention, you have a conversation or whatever. So I'm standing there in very close proximity to her and Polly. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm standing there. She's looking back at me, but she's not saying anything. So I'm like, oh no. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, she's one of those. Like, she's one of those people that you see on TV and you like them so much, but then they're aloof in person. That's what I'm thinking. My mind already created that narrative. And then when I finally, said something to her, she was like, "Oh my God, you were waiting to talk to me? I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Oh, what did you think that I was waiting here for?" She was like, "Oh, I thought you were trying to talk to one of the other people from the panel." And I was like, "No, I came here to talk to you." And she was like, "Oh my God, really? You're here? You're here for me?" Like, it was as if she acted as if I was the person who was the star, right? And then I gave her the stars. And then she was like, "Oh my God, did you make these?" Like, you could see the video. I have the video. And then she said, "Can you sign these? Can you sign this and give it back to me?" And I was like, "What?" "Oh, let me put you on my Instagram. This, and this." And it was the funniest thing ever because I had already created this narrative in my head that she was just nasty because she wasn't acknowledging my presence when I was trying to speak to her. And then meanwhile, she just didn't think I was there to see her. But I guess in fairness, it wasn't like a challenge event. It was a fibroids event that she was on a panel for. So I could have been there for any one of them there. Like Angela Yee was there. Like all these people from these other shows. Granted, I did not know those people from those other shows because I don't watch those shows, but I could have been there for any of them. So, fair. But yeah, that was that. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, and that's a person who treats you like a friend. Like you meet her. And I've heard this of other people giving accounts too. She treats you like you're her long lost friend that you've known for years. And that's what I've gotten from every interaction that I've had. The interview that I did, and the couple of times, 3 times, meeting in person, and yeah. Shout out to that. Shout out to her. I'm probably recounting all these stories just because, oh my gosh, the time. Yeah, because I'm going to see her tomorrow, actually. But I got to go. I'm going to be in Orlando, hopefully, within the next 5 hours if I don't miss this flight. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Bye.